Hey everyone! So in a recent video, I did an updated flip through of my paper planner. This is the Louis Vuitton Agenda, which is personal size. And I showed you how I went back to the basics in this planner. So I just have my yearly goals and stuff, plus monthly, weekly, and daily planning, and that's it. I used to have a whole back section which had wellness stuff, business, content, and finances. I took all of that out and moved it into my iPad. So today's video, I wanted to talk about how I decided what stays in this planner and what goes to my iPad, and how this system really works very well for me mixing paper with digital. So yeah, like I said, in here is just my monthly, weekly, and daily planning. I'll link the video above if you want to see a full flip through of all of this. But the whole back section I moved into my iPad. So this is the iPad mini. I think it's iPad mini 5. It's the one that you can use an Apple Pencil with. So I have my Apple Pencil. I have this case. I'll put a link to anything I can find down below, like this case and stuff, in case you're interested. This is like a dark gray. I really like this case because it's super thin and minimal, so it doesn't make it too bulky. But I did need a case that has a spot for my Apple Pencil because I just like it handy here at all times. I use it so much. So I'm gonna kind of like hold this iPad at an angle so you don't see the glare. But I mentioned before that I use this app right here, and this app is called Notability. I've had it for literally years. I think I paid probably $10 for it or something, and I've never had to pay anything again ever since that first initial payment. But recently, when I mentioned this app, someone told me that it costs now like a subscription. If I find any information about that, I'll put it in the description box. But I've been using it for free for years. I know there are other digital planning apps out there like Notion and things like that, but because I've been using Notability for so long and it works really well for me, I'm just sticking with this one. I just feel like it's so easy. It's like you have a physical notebook here. That's how easy it works to write on and stuff like that. So let me show you guys. So this is what the app looks like. And then when you click in, you have dividers here. Let me get my pencil so I can use it as a pointer. Okay, so I think you can see a little bit better here. So you have these things like with the arrows, these are dividers. And so you can close the dividers and open the dividers. And then these dots here are subjects. And then you could also put dividers within your subjects like I have here. So I have my main section that I always keep open, which is called Planner. So I have wellness, personal, business, and finances in this planner divider. And these dividers were actually what the whole back section of my paper planner was. So I simply took those out and put it here in my Notability app. So I just put these dividers here. So if I click on wellness, these are the pages that I had in my paper planner. A lot of these things I'm not going to click into because it has personal information, but I had a page for health stats, I had a page for other health stats that I was tracking, and then I had a page for health appointments that I'm trying to schedule out all the health appointments for my family and I. So these pages were in a divider in my planner. I decided to move it here because especially these two things here are just basically logs. So what I decided is what I'm keeping in my paper planner are things that I'm really planning my month, planning my week, planning my day. But if there are other things that I'm just logging things in, that's what I decided to move to my iPad. And the one main reason for that is, like I mentioned in my last video, things have been super overwhelming, crazy. So I was just trying to lighten the load, go more minimal in my paper planner. So anything that I didn't really need on paper, I moved to my iPad. So on paper, I do need my monthly inserts, my weekly inserts, and my daily inserts. My brain only works on paper for those kind of things. I need to see it laid out. I need to see it on paper. I need to write it with pen. I don't know why. My brain just works that way. I think that's the case for a lot of us. But for just logging numbers, logging stats, I don't really need to put it in here. I can just put it on my iPad. So same thing for like projects. So health appointments would be considered a project for me because my family and I are behind on our health appointments. So it's like a priority project for me right now. So projects, I moved into here instead of in my planner. And the main reason I did that is because when I'm planning out my projects, sometimes you have different lists or sometimes you have a little reference calendar. It's different for each project for me. I used to do it on a blank note paper, and a lot of times I would have to like scribble things out, or I wanted to move things around, which is not easy when you're doing it in a paper planner, but it's super easy to do it on the iPad. So I moved my projects onto my iPad for just the ease and convenience of moving things around, erasing it, making the layout any way that I want to make it. So I'm going to show you guys an example. I know it's hard to picture it when I'm not clicking in. I'll show you an example in one of these other areas, but basically what's in my iPad is anything that I just really need to log or projects for this planning section. And then inside of wellness, I have another divider called meal ideas. And here I'm just collecting meal ideas for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. And so for like here, dinner, I can add in like screenshots or websites of recipes that I find. So not only do I have dinner ideas here with some old recipes I had, but I have recipes that I found online that I just saved in this subject. Then I have my personal subject, and here I have my brain dump, cleaning routines, and move. So brain dump I've showed before, and basically I use brain dumps in a number of different ways, but this brain dump is like my main brain dump, I would say. It's basically a list. This is the personal side. This is the business side, and it's exactly what it sounds. A brain dump. Whenever things come up, I think of things, I jot it down here until I'm ready to plan it wherever it needs to be planned. So it's just a brain dump. And then I have here my cleaning routines. So I mentioned this in the last video, but in my yearly section, this is where all my planning routines are for the year, the month, the week, and the day. And then in the back, I have my cleaning routines insert. It's blank here, and I'm gonna fill it in, but I work it out here first. And so that's another reason I really love using the iPad in my planning, because here I have this, the exact insert that was in my planner, I have it here, and then I work out all the details. Like, what are my daily cleaning routines? What are my weekly? What are my monthly? What are my cleaning zones? So if I was to do that on my insert, I feel like as I'm thinking it out and working it out, I might have to like erase things a lot or cover it up or stuff like that. Instead, I do it on my iPad. I get it organized in the exact way I want. And once it's set, then I can transfer it into my paper planner. And the reason why I do want to transfer it into my paper planner instead of just referencing my iPad is because I like having all my routines in here, all my planning routines and recurring tasks. Cleaning routines is part of that. So whenever I'm planning my month, my week, or my day, all of these planning routines and recurring tasks are easily accessible for me to reference as I'm planning out my month, week, and days. So I do like having it handy here, but I find it really helpful to plan it out here first. And then I mentioned before that I like doing projects on my iPad. So here's an example why. So a huge project right now for us is moving, which I've been talking about a lot lately. And instead of working it out on my paper planner, I do it in my iPad because I can make simple lists like this. This is just a to-do list. This is just me pricing things out. But for example, here's just like a little table that I made myself of each like room or space in our house and the different things we need to buy for each of those areas. I like to split it up by room, and I keep moving things around, highlighting things, unhighlighting things, deleting things, and that's really hard to do in a paper planner, in my opinion. It's much easier and convenient, faster to do it here on my iPad. And then another feature I really love is, for example, here's a photo I took of the new office area that I'll be in, and I just needed to measure the room so I can plan the configuration of like the shelves and the tables and stuff. And so I took a picture and then I just wrote the measurements here. I mean, I could have just drew like a rectangle and did that, but I really like having it visually like this. So not only do I know the measurements, but when I'm thinking about where is my desk gonna go, I can see it visually, like, oh, you know, it would look really nice here. A shelf would go really nice here. So I can even take pictures of those things and kind of try to place it in here if I wanted to do that. So I just really love the Notability app. I have not used Notion or any of the other like OneNote. I don't even know if people use Evernote anymore or anything like that. I'm sure those are good as well. But what I really love about Notability is just so easy. This could be just like a paper notebook that I can just easily write wherever, draw things like that, you know, do whatever I want. It's just so easy. There is not too complicated. I don't need to open up a little thing. It's just like writing directly on paper. So I don't know. I really love Notability. This is not sponsored at all, so I'm not trying to sell you on them. I'm just saying I really like this app a lot. So that's for personal. I also have my business divider. So here I have revenue streams, business stats. These are a couple of projects, like I need to make some tweaks to our tax setup, some rebranding we're going to do, and then like even this is a free download from a content creator that I follow on YouTube. She had this free download, and because it's PDF, I can easily import it into Notability, and I can even highlight stuff, take notes on stuff if I wanted to, fill things in. So that's another reason I really love Notability, is when I have PDFs like that, I can just put it into my app, read it there, take notes there. I also have my finances. So for some reason, my brain doesn't comprehend the budget as well if I put it in an Excel spreadsheet. I don't know why. And even though this is technically still digital, my brain works better here because, like I said, it's like a piece of paper that I'm just writing things out. So I keep it on my iPad and it's just all handwritten. Nothing is calculated like automatically, which would be easier. But like I said, my brain just works better writing everything out. So I like to keep it on here rather than in my planner because I do a lot of moving around, a lot of highlighting, erasing, all that kind of stuff. It's always like a lot of tweaking and things like that. So having it on my iPad just makes more sense for me. And then a couple of logs about taxes, some information about finances, and all of that. So all my finances I do right here in my iPad. And then here, a subdivider of the finances is my bank statements, because each month I download the bank statement, I compare it to my information and just make sure all of that is logged correctly. So that's my main digital planner. I always have this open, but then I also have some more dividers down here, as you can see, and these are mainly just for note taking. So anything that, let's say for my girls' school, then I click into their subject and I take any notes for their school. Like if they have a school calendar, if they have some school project that I need to help them with or track or whatever, that's what those dividers are. So these are mostly like lists and note taking for all of these things. They really are files that I don't have to access very regularly, so I keep it on here. And like I said, anything that has to do with lists, logs, or note taking, I do it on my iPad rather than in my paper planner. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's how I use both of these systems together, my paper planner, my digital planner, and I really, really do use these all day, every day as a hybrid system, and it works really, really well for me. So my iPad is as indispensable as my paper planner. I need both, and the system together really runs my life. So Anyways, I hope you found that information helpful. If you have any questions about either of these systems, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.